Dawn of the Dark Ones. So, one thing I forgot to mention last time I did this, that I mentioned the first time I did this, is so for when I did Creatures of the Night, I hadn't really seen any real horror movies at that point. But in that about year gap between that and Don't Scream, I had seen quite a few horror movies, and specifically the ones that I want to mention is I had seen Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, and it has and is still my favorite movie, and I think that is particularly evident in these two movies. Specifically, in the opening scene is very Evil Dead. Another thing I wanted to mention is that this movie, Dawn of the Dark Ones, a really big influence on this is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that comes through in the sound design every time the the witch. If you couldn't tell, the antagonist of this is a witch called the Icody, and every time she makes an appearance, you hear that the flashbulb effect from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So that's what that is. And the ending of this, which we didn't actually shoot, I'll get to that later. The ending of this was supposed to be the very reminiscent of the final scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So anyway, how this movie got made, we were, like I mentioned last time, my aunt was like, "Hey, can you make a movie with my kids?" And they're like, "Yeah, that'd be cool," with my cousins. And so I was filming it with my cousins, and the actress who played Joy in that film was friends with the actor who plays Bert in Dawn of the Dark Ones, and she was talking to him, and he's like, "Well, okay, can you do it with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Really, a week later, that we shot it, and it was really cool because I was able to take a lot of the things that I learned in Don't Scream and literally like put them into practice like almost immediately. I'm not able to quantify or put down on paper exactly what I learned from Don't Scream, but it's very evident that like we learned and we were able to adapt very quickly. We filmed this. It's the same actress who played the Icody is Joy from last week, Don't Scream. And so we were filming this at his house, but the problem was that his older brother was having a graduation ceremony that same day. And so we were really crunched on time. So there's only 4 people there. It was the 4 actors, and me and Zoe would switch back and forth as the person holding the camera, depending on who was in the shot. So we were really crunched on time. We were able to, yes, that's why we didn't film the ending, is because we were so crunched. The ending of this is, for the most part, I think it significantly better, but there's some weird jump cuts at the end because we just didn't have enough time to do all the coverage we needed, so we were just kind of jumping around a little bit at the end just to get it done. Because like they were leaving for the ceremony like almost immediately, and and so for my for my character's death scene, I don't remember my character's name, but we were using ketchup, the same mixture we used for Don't Scream. But the problem is that Steven, the actor who played Bert, kept getting my character's name wrong, and so we'd have to do the same thing over and over and over again. And so in the film, you can clearly see when I'm dying, I'm smiling because he finally got it right. But there's so much ketchup like on my neck and in my hair, and so we literally we went straight from the filming to the graduation ceremony, and I just had ketchup in my hair, and so that was cool. Really fun. And another thing, in the script, so in the movie, in final film, final product, my character says, "Okay, man," and that became kind of like a meme in itself. But originally in the script, it said, "Okay, Mom," because that makes sense because he's the other character's telling him what to do, and he's like, "Okay, Mom, don't tell me what to do," kind of thing. But for one reason or another, the actor's like, "No, you can't call me Mom." And so it's like, "Oh, so switch it to Man." And so it doesn't make any sense, but my delivery and it kind of became a meme in itself. One thing that I'm going to mention here is that in every movie that I have directed so far, and I don't plan on changing this anytime soon, but every movie that I've directed so far there's a lot of references. You can probably tell that. I love hiding little references in and little Easter eggs to other things, but there's at least one reference to DC Comics in every single one of my movies. I think the first two, it's very, very blatantly obvious. This is the first one where it's kind of hidden a little bit. There are actually two. There's actually two DC Comics references in this movie, and it's kind of hidden a little bit. So, yeah, go back and watch it and see if you can find them. Yeah, the opening shot. I was running for about it's double speed, and I was running. The video was played on double speed, and so I was running for like I guess 4 minutes, because it plays for 2 minutes in the opening, and I really like it. Although on YouTube, just 2 minutes of nothing is not ideal to start your video with. Just 2 minutes of just nothing, and so when I show it to people, they're like, "What's just 2 minutes of absolutely nothing?" But I think it's kind of fun. It's a POV of the witch kind of running up to the people, and I think it's really. Honestly, I really like the way that we were able to for the film to come together. I think that objectively, you might say that this. It's okay. I think this is my best film yet, and it's not great. I'm not saying this is perfect, but it's significantly better than anything else I've made, anything else I've directed. And I think that there's definitely an argument to be made that from like an objective perspective, The Regulars has a higher production value and therefore is better. But like we'll get to The Regulars in like 4 months, but we'll get to it. I did not enjoy my time on that movie, so I just think that this one's better, and I feel like I'm very biased, but I feel like in the final product you can definitely see it definitely comes through all of all the shit we had to go through for The Regulars. I think it just comes through. You can feel it. I can feel it when watching it, and it's just not a pleasant viewing experience. We'll get to The Regulars, but I feel like this is probably my best film so far, which is kind of sad. Best film I directed so far. I mean, I've produced stuff that hasn't yet been released that is actually really good. I think probably the best film I worked on is Raw Dog. I was a producer on that and an actor on that. Now that was released, and we'll get that on the channel eventually as well. So as far as like projects that I've worked on that have been released, that's probably my best one. But if we're only talking about director work, then it's Dawn of the Dark Ones for sure. Yeah, I think that's it for Dawn of the Dark Ones. This is the last time you'll hear from me for a very long time, until I think the next one is Raw Dog, maybe Donnie. I'm not sure how they're going to release that, but you won't hear from me for a while. You're going to hear from Tazio, and he has a very different style of videos for like this, so it's less of like, yeah, so his videos are more, it's a different style completely. So there's going to be breaking down videos talking about the making of, but it's going to be very different because he's a very different person. And that's what I like about this this channel, is that like everybody there's the short and there's the breaking down how he made it, and everyone has their own style. So like you kind of get the personality of like who they are just by watching these kind of videos. I like even just the behind the scenes videos, because I've seen little snippets of some of the other people's making of videos, and I think that it's a lot of fun. So subscribe, stay tuned to that. We're releasing shorts. I think in the future we are going to release some trailers. We're still trying to figure out how the best way to do that. I'm also talking with somebody about maybe possibly putting some animation on the channel. So if you're interested in that, just make sure to subscribe. And there's also going to be, we're talking about putting on some sketches as well. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe with the bell on. Share this video with your friends, and we'll see you next time. Peace.